The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was a place of light and silence. Tall windows looked out into the endless dark of space, where distant stars glimmered like cold sparks. Inside the chamber, delegates of 100 species sat in rising tiers. Voices usually filled this place with calm debate, but today the air was heavy with anger. At the center table stood Markin, the senior human representative. His uniform was neat, his voice steady, but his eyes carried the weight of many sleepless nights. "You accuse humanity of recklessness," Markin said, his voice carrying across the hall. "But what happened on Varnus colony was not our doing alone. The miners there were attacked first." A tall figure from the Dranthai Confederation rose, its thin silver limbs trembling with indignation. "Your people escalated the conflict," the alien delegate hissed. "When a dispute arose, you brought soldiers instead of diplomats. You destroyed 3 settlements belonging to neutral species. This cannot stand." Whispers moved through the chamber. Several species nodded in agreement, their faces showing unease. Others looked away, unwilling to speak. Markin kept his composure. "We defended ourselves. Would you have us let our colonies burn?" A representative from the Kalari Union slammed his staff on the floor. "Enough. Humanity has shown time and again that it cannot live under council law. You take what you want. You threaten those who refuse. We have no choice." The council speaker, an old, pale being whose skin glowed faintly, rose to speak. "The vote is called. Shall Earth and its colonies remain part of this council, or shall they be exiled?" One by one, the names of member worlds were read, and their votes declared. "Exile. Exile. Exile." Some hesitated, but only a few spoke in humanity's defense. The final count was clear, the majority wanted humans out. Markin stood silently as the speaker announced the decision. "By vote of the Council, Earth and its territories are hereby removed from membership. You are denied trade, denied technology exchange, denied the protections of this body. You may leave freely, but you may not return." The human delegation rose slowly. Anna, a young engineer at Markin's side, clenched her fists but said nothing. Rico, a quiet military strategist, kept his gaze fixed on the floor, hiding his fury. Markin bowed slightly to the speaker, his voice calm though his heart burned. "You think this will end your problems. You think humanity will break without your help. But I tell you this: we will endure. And if danger comes to our worlds, we will stand alone." He turned and walked out of the chamber, the heavy doors closing behind him with a hollow sound. Outside the station, human ships waited to carry the delegation home. From the viewport, Markin looked back at the shining towers of the council's capital. "They believe we are weak," he said softly. "They believe they have seen the last of us." Anna spoke for the first time. "What will happen to our colonies without trade? Without council protection?" "We will protect them ourselves," Markin replied. "And we will learn to build without their help." Rico's voice was low but firm. "Then we must be ready for the day when someone tests us. Because they will. The pirates, the warlords, even the council itself. They will see Earth as prey." Markin nodded slowly. "Then let us make sure they are wrong." As their ships disengaged from the station, a silent message spread across the galaxy: "Humans are alone now." Some species celebrated, believing a dangerous rival had been contained. Others worried, knowing humans were stubborn and would not sit idle in exile. On Earth, the news brought fear and anger. Trade ships stopped arriving. Colonies on distant worlds sent desperate calls for help. Equipment broke down without foreign parts. Food shortages grew. But instead of collapsing, humanity pulled together. Governments united under one banner, and leaders called for innovation. Markin worked day and night, traveling between Earth and the colonies to maintain order. Anna returned to the shipyards, determined to design better engines, stronger shields, and weapons powerful enough to scare off any pirate fleet. Rico began training a small force of loyal officers in secret, teaching them how to fight with precision and discipline rather than brute strength. The Council believed humanity would fade away in silence. They believed Earth would learn humility. But in hidden bases and deep space docks, a new vision began to take shape. Humanity would not remain weak. Humanity would not be forgotten. And in the shadows of the asteroid belt, the first plans for a warship unlike any other were drawn, sleek, fast, and unstoppable. Its name would be whispered only among trusted circles. It would carry Earth's flag into the stars again, not as a beggar, but as a warning. The exile had begun. But so had humanity's resolve to rise stronger than ever. The first year after exile was the hardest. Ships that once brought food and medicine stopped arriving. Human colonies on distant planets struggled to survive with what little they had. Engines broke down without spare parts. Trade routes went silent. Even old allies turned away, afraid of defying the Galactic Council. Markin traveled between Earth and the colonies in an old transport, trying to keep people calm. He spoke to farmers on Mars who feared their crops would fail, to engineers on Titan whose machines were rusting, to miners on Vesta who could not sell their ore. Everywhere he went, people asked the same question. How will we survive? Markin always gave the same answer. Together. On Earth, Anna worked day and night in the shipyards. She was young, but her mind was quick, and she refused to give up. She repaired old freighters and designed new engines that used human-made parts instead of foreign imports. She worked with crews who had no pay, only hope, welding metal until their arms ached. Someday, she told her team, we will build ships so strong no one will dare threaten us again. Rico, quiet and serious, stayed far from the public eye. He gathered loyal officers and began training them in secret bases. He studied every battle humanity had fought and every alien tactic they had faced. His lessons were simple. We cannot match the galaxy in numbers. We must fight smarter. We must strike faster. And we must never lose discipline. Years passed. Humanity did not fall. Instead of weakening, people learned to adapt. Old factories roared back to life. Colonies grew their own food. Scientists developed new alloys from asteroid metals. Earth began to produce weapons and engines that were entirely human in design. But danger never stayed away for long. One night, as Markin returned from a visit to the colony of New Cora, alarms sounded on his ship. Pirates had appeared on the edge of the system, raiding unprotected settlements. Without council patrols to guard them, human colonies were easy prey. Markin gave the order to flee, but deep inside he burned with anger. These raiders would not dare attack a council world. They came because humanity was alone. Back on Earth, he called Anna and Rico to a private meeting in a hidden facility under the mountains. A simple table, 3 chairs, and a single light overhead. No one else was allowed to hear. They think we are weak, Markin said. We cannot ask for help. No one will come. So we must protect ourselves. Anna spread out a sheet of metal designs across the table. It showed a ship like none humanity had ever built. Long and narrow, with heavy armor plates and strange new engines at its core. I have been working on this, she said. A vessel that can outrun and outfight anything in the sector. But it will take years. We need resources. We need secrecy. And we need the courage to finish it. Rico leaned forward, eyes sharp. If we build it, we must have a crew ready to use it. The best we have. I will train them. Markin looked at them both. Then we will begin at once. The council wanted us broken. Instead, they have given us reason to unite. Construction started in hidden shipyards deep inside the asteroid belt. Cargo ships moved through dark space with no lights, carrying steel and crystal, engines and fuel. Workers risked their lives in freezing tunnels, building piece by piece what Anna called the Valor Project. No one outside trusted circles knew the full plan. To the rest of humanity, it seemed like Earth was simply repairing its fleets. But in secret, a single warship was taking shape, bigger, faster, and deadlier than anything the Council navies possessed. Meanwhile, Rico trained hand-picked crews in old bases on Luna. He drilled them in tactics, discipline, and absolute loyalty. "We will not fight to conquer," he told them. "We will fight to protect. But if they come for us, they will regret it." By the 10th year of exile, humanity was no longer desperate. The colonies had food. The factories ran again. Pirates learned to stay away from armed convoys. Yet whispers spread across the galaxy. Traders spoke of strange human vessels that moved with unmatched speed. Council scouts reported unusual energy readings in the asteroid belt. In distant halls of power, alien leaders began to ask the question they had hoped never to face. What are the humans building out there? And on Earth, under the cold light of the moon, Anna walked through the massive hangar where the unfinished warship rested. She touched its armored hull and whispered, "When you are ready, no one will ever exile us again." The Valor Project was alive. Humanity's answer to exile was no longer just survival. It was strength. 10 years after exile, the asteroid belt shipyards came alive with quiet purpose. Far from the eyes of the Galactic Council, the warship Valor took its final shape. Its black hull absorbed starlight, making it nearly invisible against the darkness of space. Engines powered by human-designed cores hummed softly, and newly forged energy weapons rested within its armored frame. Anna stood in the command center of the shipyard, staring at the vessel through a wide observation window. For years she had poured every thought, every idea into this project. Now the dream was real. She placed her hand against the glass as if to feel the ship's heartbeat. "She's ready," Anna whispered. Rico entered the room, wearing a plain officer's jacket. His face showed no emotion, but his sharp eyes moved across every readout and control panel. "The crew has completed their final training cycle," he said. "They are disciplined, loyal, and they know the stakes. No mistakes will be allowed." Markin arrived moments later, looking older than when the exile began, his hair now streaked with gray. But his voice carried the same steady strength. "This day took longer than I hoped," he said, "but it has come. Humanity is no longer weak." The first test of Valor began in secret. The ship eased out of its hidden dock, engines glowing faint blue. Every sensor on board was human-made, every weapon crafted without alien assistance. Rico commanded from the bridge while Anna monitored every system from engineering. Markin watched silently, knowing this single vessel represented Earth's entire future. The first trial was speed. Valor ignited its drive and shot across empty space, faster than any human ship before. Then came maneuver drills, sharp turns and sudden reversals that would tear apart lesser craft. The ship responded with perfect balance, its hull groaning under stress but never faltering. "Engines are stable," Anna reported, her hands moving over glowing controls. "No overheating, no power loss." "Good," Rico replied. Next, weapons test. On a barren moon far from trade routes, old derelict freighters had been placed as targets. At Rico's command, Valor's forward batteries opened fire. Beams of focused energy lanced through metal hulls, slicing them apart in seconds. Secondary cannons followed, shredding the remaining wreckage with precision. Markin allowed himself a faint smile. If the Council could see this now, they would be afraid. But the test was not without risk. Midway through the final drill, the ship's shields flickered under maximum output. Anna worked quickly to stabilize the system, rerouting power before the barrier collapsed. "The energy regulators need adjustment," she said, voice calm despite the danger. "This ship is powerful, but she's hungry. She will drain every reactor we give her." Rico made a note. "We will solve it." We cannot afford failure in battle. When Valor returned to its dock, the crew cheered quietly, their voices echoing in the hangar. For the first time since exile, hope filled every heart. Humanity had built something with its own hands that could stand against any threat. But news traveled fast in the shadows of space. A passing smuggler spotted strange engine trails near the asteroid belt and reported them to alien contacts. Soon, rumors spread across the galaxy. Humans are building a warship. They have weapons more powerful than the Council fleet. They are preparing for war. In the Council chambers, fear grew. Delegates argued in worried tones. Some called for a blockade of human space. Others warned that provoking Earth would be a mistake. The speaker demanded evidence, but no scout ship dared to enter the belt. Too many returned damaged or did not return at all. Meanwhile, pirates who once raided human colonies vanished without explanation. Unconfirmed reports spoke of an unseen hunter tearing their ships apart. No one ever found wreckage. Some believed Earth had developed secret patrol craft. Others whispered of a single ghost ship, faster and stronger than anything alive. Back in the hidden dock, Anna walked along Valor's armored hull as workers tightened the last bolts and sealed the final plates. She felt the cold metal under her gloves and smiled faintly. "You will not fight for conquest," she murmured. "You will fight so no one can ever exile us again." Rico prepared the crew for real missions. "We will not reveal ourselves unless forced," he told them. "This ship is a blade in the dark. Our enemies will not see us coming." Markin, standing beside them, added only one sentence. "Humanity will never beg again." As the stars turned silently above the asteroid belt, the shadow of Valor drifted through the void, unseen and unstoppable. And somewhere beyond the borders of human space, powerful eyes were watching, wondering what the exiles of Earth were planning next. The shadow had awakened. The galaxy would soon learn what it meant to push humanity aside. The Galactic Council chamber was restless. Alarms had spread through trade routes. A rogue warlord, commanding a fleet of stolen ships, had begun attacking border worlds. Council patrols were too slow to respond, and colonies were burning. This would not have happened if humanity were still here, one delegate muttered under his breath. The words were not meant to be heard, but they echoed the thoughts of many. After days of debate, a quiet decision was made. A single envoy was sent toward human space, traveling without escort, without an official banner. The mission was secret. The council did not want to admit they needed the exiles. Markin met the envoy in a small outpost orbiting a barren moon. The alien, short and thin with a nervous voice, wasted no time. "Your people are in exile," the envoy said. "But the border is under attack. The council fleets are scattered. We request your help." Markin studied him for a long moment. "You voted to cast us out. Now you come to us for protection." The envoy lowered his gaze. "If the warlord is not stopped, millions will die. This is not only our problem. He will attack your colonies next." Markin said nothing for several seconds. His eyes were calm, but his thoughts moved fast. This was an opportunity, not revenge, but proof. If humanity could defend the border, the galaxy would see their strength and discipline. "You will have our answer soon," Markin said, rising to leave. Back in the asteroid belt, he met Anna and Rico aboard the warship Valor. The ship's black hull gleamed under the hangar lights, and the crew stood ready. "The council asks for help," Markin told them. "Not openly. They are ashamed. But if we do this, we show the galaxy who we are." Rico crossed his arms. "This could be a trap. They may wish to see our ship, to measure our strength." Anna shook her head. "Whether trap or not, those worlds need saving. And Valor is ready." Markin nodded. "Then we go. But we show only what we choose to show. Within hours, Valor left the hidden dock and slid into the darkness of space. No lights marked its path. Only the faint hum of its engines filled the silent bridge. The rogue warlord's fleet was already in motion. A dozen raider cruisers surrounded a defenseless colony on the rim of Council space. Fires burned in its cities. Civilians called for help, but no one answered. Until now. "Bring us in, low profile," Rico ordered. His voice was calm, almost cold. "Weapons on standby. Target engines first. We take prisoners if we can." Anna monitored every system, adjusting power between shields and weapons. "Engines are steady. Weapons charged." The warlord's fleet never saw Valor coming. One moment, space was empty. The next, a black shadow cut through the darkness, faster than any ship they had ever faced. Precision fire tore through raider engines, disabling them before they could even raise shields. Target locked. Firing. Bright energy beams slashed through the void. One by one, raider ships drifted powerless, their crews stunned. The warlord himself, commanding a massive flagship, tried to rally his fleet. "Who are you? Identify yourself," he shouted across open channels. Rico gave no answer. He simply nodded to Anna. The main battery fired once, clean and sharp, burning through the warlord's weapons array without destroying his ship. The battle was over in minutes. Markin opened a single channel to the council. His voice was calm. "The threat is ended. Your colonies are safe. Humanity asks nothing in return, only that you remember this day." Before the council could respond, Valor vanished into the dark, leaving behind only stunned survivors and a rescued colony. When news spread of what had happened, fear and respect traveled with it. No one knew how a single human ship had defeated an entire raider fleet so quickly. Whispers filled the council chambers. Have the humans built a superweapon? Are they preparing for war? Or are they protecting us, even after exile? On the Bridge of Valor, Anna checked over every system carefully. "No serious damage," she reported. "She handled perfectly." Rico looked out at the stars. "The galaxy will not forget this. They will either fear us, or they will finally respect us." Markin sat quietly in the command chair. "We do not seek fear," he said. "But if fear is the only language they understand, then they will hear it." The shadow ship turned for home, silent and unseen, leaving the border world safe and the council unsettled. The first mission of Valor was complete. Humanity had shown its power and the galaxy had started to take notice. The council chamber was louder than it had been in years. Delegates spoke over one another, their voices sharp with anger and fear. The destruction of the rogue warlord's fleet had shocked the galaxy. Even more shocking was the identity of the savior. "It was the humans," one delegate shouted, his scaled tail lashing against the floor. "No other species has such weapons." "We asked for their help," another admitted quietly. "And they gave it. Without payment. Without demand. That is what makes them dangerous," argued a tall Kalari. "If they can do this with one ship, what happens when they have 10? Or 100? The speaker called for silence, his pale glow dim with exhaustion. "The question before us is simple. Do we open the door to Earth again, or do we try to contain them before they grow too strong?" Around the chamber, opinions split. Some feared the humans' new power. Others felt guilt for casting them out. The memory of Valor cutting through an entire pirate fleet in minutes weighed heavily on every mind. Markin, Anna, and Rico had been summoned to the council station for a special hearing. This time, there was no grand welcome, no friendly handshakes. Security officers watched their every step as they walked into the great hall. Markin stood at the center table once more, the same place where humanity had been exiled years ago. He remembered every word spoken that day, every insult thrown at his people. But his voice now was steady, not bitter. Humanity has not come here to demand anything, Markin said. We came because you asked for help. And we gave it freely. Not because we are desperate to return to this council, but because innocent lives were at risk. A Dranthi delegate leaned forward. You say you seek peace. Yet you built a warship more powerful than anything in this chamber. Why? Rico answered calmly. Because no one else would protect us. You left our colonies defenseless. We built valor to ensure our survival. Nothing more. Anna added, our ship is human-made. No alien designs. No stolen technology. We have learned to stand on our own. And we will continue to build, whether you approve or not. The chamber erupted in debate again. Some applauded the humans' courage. Others whispered of danger and rebellion. The speaker raised his hand for quiet. We must decide. Do we keep Earth in exile and risk conflict, or do we welcome them back under the laws of the Council? A Kalari representative slammed his staff. We cannot allow them back. They are too strong. Today they saved us. Tomorrow they may rule us. A gentle-voiced diplomat from the small Varnus League disagreed. We exiled them unfairly. They have shown restraint. They could have destroyed the rogue fleet entirely, yet they spared many ships. This is not conquest. This is discipline. Hours passed with no decision. Markin and his team waited in silence. From the gallery above, Anna looked down at the alien leaders, seeing fear in their eyes. It was not just fear of humanity's weapons. It was fear of humanity's resolve. Finally, the speaker addressed the human delegation. The council will meet again in 1 week to cast a vote. Until then, you will remain here as guests. We ask you to share the details of your warship so that we may understand it. Rico shook his head slightly. That will not happen. Markin spoke firmly. We do not give away our defenses. You may judge us by our actions, not our blueprints. You saw what we did at the border. That is all you need to know. The speaker frowned but did not press the issue. Very well. The vote will decide. When the humans left the chamber, whispers followed them. Delegates stared, some with admiration, others with cold suspicion. Outside the hall, Anna whispered to Markin, "Do you think they will let us back in?" Markin glanced toward the stars beyond the station windows. If they do, it will not be out of kindness. It will be out of fear. And if they refuse, we will endure, as we always have. Rico added quietly, they are not afraid because of what we did. They are afraid because of what we might do next. Back in their quarters, they prepared for whatever came. Whether welcomed or rejected, humanity would continue to rise. In hidden shipyards far from council eyes, construction crews were already laying the frame for ships to stand beside Valor. The galaxy had seen one shadow ship. Soon, there would be more. The stars burned coldly as a massive fleet approached the outer rim of council space. Alien warships, larger and stronger than any human ship had faced, moved with precision and speed. Reports reached the council that entire worlds might fall in hours. Panic spread through the chambers, and hesitation froze the fleets. Markin, Anna, and Rico watched the incoming threat from the Bridge of Valor. The black hull of the ship seemed almost invisible in the dark. Around them, the crew prepared silently. Every weapon ready, every system checked. They outnumber us, one officer said nervously. Rico's eyes did not waver. Numbers do not win battles. Strategy, discipline, and timing do. We will protect these worlds. That is our duty. Anna checked the energy output of the main cannons. All systems stable. Shields at full power. We can hold them off. Markin gave a slow nod. Then let's show them what humanity is capable of. The first wave of enemy ships arrived, opening fire on isolated colonies. Council fleets tried to respond but were scattered and disorganized. Panic struck the command ships. Communications failed under concentrated attacks. From the dark of space, Valor moved like a shadow. Its engines flared briefly, then it was gone from sensor grids. The enemy fleet turned blindly, searching for the unseen attacker. Rico commanded the crew with calm precision. Target their engines first. Disable their speed. Avoid unnecessary destruction. Protect the colonies. Energy beams lanced through space, striking enemy ships with surgical accuracy. Explosions rocked the void, but Valor remained untouched. It struck and vanished again, like a ghost in the stars. Anna monitored every shot, rerouting power to shields when multiple hits threatened the hull. Shields holding. Weapons recharged. Markin opened a communication channel to the Council fleets. Follow our lead. Stay in formation. Protect the civilians. Some Council ships hesitated, unwilling to trust humans after years of exile. But as the battle continued, they saw the logic in Rico's strategy. Slowly, they fell into line behind Valor, moving as a single unit under the human command. The enemy flagship, massive and heavily armed, tried to target Valor directly. Missiles streaked across space, energy beams cut paths through empty void. But Anna's calculations kept shields strong, deflecting each attack while the human ship delivered counterstrikes that crippled the flagship's weapons. Hours passed. Colonies remained safe. The enemy lost ship after ship, unable to match the speed and precision of humanity's tactics. Even when Council fleets faltered, Valor adjusted strategy, protecting the weak points, guiding allies, and striking hard where needed. Finally, the enemy flagship surrendered, surrounded by disabled cruisers. The remaining raiders fled in chaos, their morale shattered. The battle was over. Human ships had held the line when no one else could. Markin allowed himself a small smile. They underestimated us, he said softly. And they learned the cost. Rico turned to the crew. You fought well. Remember this, we do not fight for conquest. We fight to protect. This is why we exist. This is what humanity must be. Anna checked the ship systems one last time. Minimal damage. The ship performed beyond expectations. We were lucky, yes, but we were ready. News of the battle spread rapidly through the council. Delegates who once doubted humanity now faced a hard truth. Humans, even in exile, had saved millions of lives. Fear and respect mingled in every corner of the chamber. The speaker, addressing the assembly, admitted quietly, humanity has shown loyalty beyond expectation. We cannot ignore their power or their wisdom. Back on Valor, Markin looked out into space. We saved worlds that did not welcome us. And yet, they will remember. Not just our weapons, but our courage and discipline. Rico added, this will change everything. The Council may fear us now, but they cannot deny us respect any longer. Anna, standing beside them, felt a quiet pride. Years of work, of struggle, of exile, had led to this moment. Humanity had proven its strength, its intelligence, and its restraint. The stars outside the viewport seemed brighter, not because the fleet had won, but because humanity had finally shown the galaxy who they truly were. The test was complete. Valor had not only defended human space but had also shown the Council that exiled humans were not to be dismissed. And somewhere in the shadows of the galaxy, whispers began, the humans are not weak. They are dangerous. And they are united. Humanity had passed its first great trial since exile. The galaxy would never forget the day the shadow ship defended the helpless and earned respect not through fear alone, but through skill, strategy, and courage. The council chamber was filled with tension. Delegates whispered to one another as the human delegation entered. The memory of the rogue fleet's defeat and the recent invasion weighed heavily on every species present. For the first time, many of them were not sure how to act. Markin stood at the center, calm and confident. He had faced exile, isolation, and battles beyond imagination. Today, he would face the council again, but this time as a victor, not a defendant. The speaker rose and addressed the assembly. We have witnessed humanity's strength and discipline. They have acted to protect even those who once denied them. Their loyalty and courage are beyond question. A murmur spread across the chamber. Some delegates looked uneasy. Others nodded slowly, recognizing the truth. Humanity had proven itself. Markin stepped forward. We did not come here to demand reinstatement, he said clearly. We came because we knew lives were at stake. We have always protected our own. Today, we extended that protection to others. Respect is earned through action, not words. Anna, standing beside him, glanced around at the alien leaders. Years of effort, of secret designs and training, had led to this moment. Valor and her team had shown the galaxy what humans could achieve. Rico added, humanity will not forget the past. We remember exile and betrayal. But we also remember honor and opportunity. We seek peace, not conquest, yet we are ready to defend ourselves and others when needed. The speaker paused. Silence filled the chamber. Delegates debated quietly among themselves, weighing fear against respect. Finally, he spoke again. The Council recognizes that humanity has acted with wisdom and strength. By unanimous decision, Earth and its colonies are restored as full members. They will hold the same rights and responsibilities as all other members. Relief swept over the human delegation, but they remained composed. Markin nodded once. We accept, not out of celebration, but out of duty. Humanity will continue to contribute to the Council, not as subordinates, but as equals. Outside the chamber, news spread quickly. Across the galaxy, colonies rejoiced. Traders and scientists contacted Earth freely once more. Technology flowed back into human hands. But for humanity, the greatest victory was not material, it was respect. In the secret shipyards where Valor and its sister ships were built, crews cheered quietly. Years of work, secrecy, and preparation had finally been acknowledged. The fleet would grow, but not for domination. It would stand as a shield, a promise that humanity would never be vulnerable again. Markin, Anna, and Rico returned to Valor. The black warship gleamed under the dock lights, quiet but alive. Markin placed a hand on its hull. You were the first to remind the galaxy that humanity cannot be ignored. And you will not be the last. Anna smiled. We built more ships. Soon, the fleet will be ready to defend all our colonies. Rico studied the stars. The galaxy may respect us now. But they will continue to test us. And we will be ready. Discipline, strategy, and courage, those are our weapons as much as any cannon or shield. Over the coming weeks, human fleets patrolled the borders of Council space. Trade resumed, but ships were prepared, crews trained, and colonies strengthened. Humanity had proven itself as both protector and innovator. The Council, once doubtful and fearful, now approached humanity with careful respect. Offers of alliance and collaboration came from species that had once scorned Earth. Markin received each proposal with quiet diplomacy, always remembering that strength must be balanced with wisdom. One evening, on the Bridge of Valor, Anna watched a sunrise over the asteroid belt. The black hull reflected the first rays of light. Do you think they truly respect us, or are they just afraid? She asked. Markin's gaze was steady. It does not matter. Respect earned through action is stronger than fear. And we have shown both courage and restraint. The galaxy has learned who humanity is. Rico nodded in agreement. We were exiled once. Now, we are equals. That is our answer. Let the future judge us fairly, by what we do, not by what they feared us to be. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the viewport. Humanity had faced exile, isolation, and doubt. They had built ships, trained crews, and defended the helpless. Now, as full members of the council, they had secured not only survival but respect and equality. Valor waited silently, ready for the next mission. Humanity had passed every test. The galaxy had learned a simple truth: humans were not to be underestimated. They were clever, resilient, and strong. And they would always rise to protect themselves and those who could not protect themselves. The long exile had ended. Humanity had returned stronger, wiser, and respected by all.